The year 2022 has come to a close, and that means it's time for the second ever LEGO YouTuber tier list. Since last year, the community has grown significantly, and so is this list. This time we've got a total of 29 creators on here. Last year we only had 21. By the way, if you want to check out last year's tier list, click the info box right now, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy. Since there are so many names here, I'll just give you a quick rundown of all of them. We have Tiago Catarino, Generic Studs, Star Wars Bricks and Figs, Republic Studs, Bricktsar, JANG's LEGO Reviews, Emmasaurus, TheBrickWiz, Brother from Another Brick, LifeBricks, MandRproductions, RichboyJhae, MGF Customs, Ashnflash, Bricksie, HollyOnFilm, TommyCBricks, SHYTIMEismyTIME, MiniSuperHeroesToday, Brickyear, Just Too Good, SANS, SpitBrix, SoldiBricks Studios, TheBrickWiz, Bricksscience, RJM Bricks, SacredBricks, and SCDude1999. There's a lot of names on here that weren't on here last year, and a few ones I left out for this, but let's get into it now with the first creator on here, Tiago Catarino. He had some massive growth this year, gaining more than 150,000 subs in 2022 and uploading a total of 50 videos by the time of me writing this script. I don't think his content is the best you can find in the LEGO space currently. It's not as high quality as TheBrickWiz, for example, or as well edited as SacredBricks stuff, but it does have a certain flair to it. In my opinion, it's reminiscent of old school, very laid back, simply edited LEGO content you'd find on the platform 5 years ago. Personally, I wouldn't put him into S or A tier, but I think he fits perfectly into B tier, just a really solid creator, especially if you need an expert's opinion. The second creator we'll look at is the Ninjago guy, Generic Stud. Can't talk about Tiago's growth in 2022 without mentioning Generic Stud's one. He started the year off with around 100k subs, and he's ending the year with a total of more than 250,000. This just goes to show again how much the community has grown this year. We'll see this even more with some of the later creators on here. Personally, I don't like Generic Stud's content. For one, I'm not much of a LEGO Ninjago fan, and I also get a headache from watching his content. This is mostly because of his editing style. He kinda pioneered the very Minecraftish style of editing in the LEGO community, but by now there are just a few people that do it a lot better than him. I'm still going to put him in A tier. As said, his content isn't for me, but I can't deny the growth and impact he had over the whole of 2022. The next one we'll talk about is Star Wars Bricks and Figs. His growth wasn't as extreme as the earlier two, but he still more than doubled his sub count, growing from less than 19k to more than 43,000 subs. Last year I put him in C tier. I think his videos massively improved in quality to 2021, and even though he again isn't my first choice, there were some videos of his I really enjoyed. Especially the MCU figure project was quite good, even though he abandoned that after just 2 episodes, which kinda broke my heart. When it comes to editing, he's slowly inching toward the Minecraftish style, but he still isn't as over-energetic, which I personally prefer. I'd put him in B tier together with Tiago Catarino. The fourth creator we'll look at is Republic Studs. Last year I actually put him in the bottom tier since the video quality and editing were just subpar. I think he really improved since last year. He also had a massive spike in subscribers. He went from a little more than 25,000 to more than 100,000 subs this year, more than quadrupling his sub count. It's not 150k unlike on some others, but percentage-wise he probably had one of the biggest spikes. You can recognize that especially his more recent videos have been inspired by TheBrickWiz. You don't even have to click on the videos for that piece of information since the thumbnails are already so similar. He's also one of the creators going with the previously mentioned newer style of editing, the very energetic, cut-heavy one. People like TheBrickWiz or SacredBricks still do it better in my opinion, but the improvement he's shown is massive. And like I've mentioned with almost every creator so far, his content isn't for me, but I gotta give credit where credit is due, and I'll put him next to Star Wars Bricks and Figs in B tier. Next up we've got one of the OGs of the LEGO scene, Bricktsar. He's been doing it for more than 10 years now and is one of the older YouTubers on this list, but he's still doing it consistently, and just for that I have to give him props. Unlike a lot of people I've talked about so far, Bricktsar still follows that classic old style of making videos. The videos are very chill, very laid back, and just not for someone with an attention span of less than 8 seconds. Not that that is a bad thing in any way, I personally prefer those kind of videos. On the other hand, you gotta see that his videos also aren't just very high quality. They're decent, don't get me wrong, but taking into consideration the ridiculously high standard we're currently at, it's just not that great anymore. So even though I personally enjoy his content, I can't really put him anywhere but in D tier. He doesn't deserve anything below that, but I just can't justify putting him in any of the higher tiers either. Up next we've got another one of the OGs, JANG's LEGO Reviews. Last year I put his main channel, JANGBricks, in D tier, but in retrospect I don't think it was fair to look at that channel. His focus these days really is the JANG's LEGO Reviews channel, where he, well, reviews LEGO sets. Just like Bricktsar, he's also want to stick to that older style of making videos, nearly no cuts and just a calm voice narrating. Something I really respect about him is that he does what he wants. He doesn't always review the newest stuff and sometimes just talks about random sets. If we look at this channel right now, the newest video is on the Spider-Man and Green Goblin mech battle, a set released in April. So even though I have to give him props for doing what he wants, I can't put him any higher than C tier. Still a bit stronger than Bricktsar in my opinion, but not by a mile. The video making style is just very outdated, at least in comparison to the standard a lot of newer creators have set over the last few years. Emmasaurus is our next creator. From the time since my last video, she's basically doubled her sub count, sitting at more than 50,000 subs currently. Last year I put an A tier actually and said that I really liked her personality, her very positive way of making videos, videos and that laid back feeling you got from watching them. And I still 100% agree with that. While I don't watch every single one of her videos, the ones I do watch I find to be very entertaining. The editing isn't too over the top but does its job very well, and her positive attitude keeps you invested while not being too over the top. All of this works really well in combination with the style of videos she does. She doesn't limit herself to reviews and stuff, which is why you find things like very well edited vlogs or a city project on her channel as well. I think you've realized by now that I like her channel a lot, and I'm gonna stick to my guns with her and put her in A tier again. The 8th creator we'll look at is TheBrickWiz. Last year I think I put him in S tier, which is really high. Now I'm not saying that was unjustified, but I don't know if I would do that again. Don't get me wrong, his content is really high quality. He is, from what I understand, studying photography. Please correct me if I'm wrong on this. So it makes sense that his videos are higher quality, and that's just something I really appreciate. The editing is nothing crazy, just chilled, laid back kind of stuff, and the whole scene is just one I really like. But I can't justify putting him in S tier. I very much appreciate what he does, but it just isn't enough for S tier, but most definitely qualifies him for A tier. Next up we'll look at Brother from Another Brick. Last year I put him in C tier and I think he's improved, but I'm still gonna leave him there. C tier this year is better than last year though, and I'll elaborate quickly. In my last video I only had 5 tiers, those being S, A, B, C and D tier, which means that every tier is basically better than last year just because we have more now. Getting back to it though, I think his stuff has gotten better. The editing style has improved and I've grown a lot more respect towards him just because these days I do quite similar stuff to his, so hey, Brother from Another Brick, hit me up if you wanna do a collab or something, I don't know. Great, just put him in C tier and then ask him to do a collab. Hypocrisy at its finest. Now his stuff isn't nearly as high quality as some of the others, but I can see him slowly evolving toward that god tier level of editing. I think the content is quite interesting and maybe he'll become something of a Sunny V2 of the LEGO community. So for now I leave him in C tier, but I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the future. Going into the double digits now, we have LifeBricks. Last year I kind of went in on him, I said quite a bit of stuff, none of which I regret or would change, unlike with JANG for example. What I can say is that he has improved. He's uploading regularly every day and he's getting good views. Would his content improve if he took some more time? Yes, I think uploading once a week, or hell, if that's not often enough, twice a week would be a better idea. In my opinion, it would help the quality of the videos immensely. The editing, for example, is very lackluster at times. Here's a little clip of one of his intros.
So in today's video, guys, I'll be attempting the very first 2023 LEGO Star Wars 501st Battle Pack alternate build. Let's get into it.
You can see it's awkwardly cut, and I just think a few days of extra time for each video could help the quality massively. For now I'll leave him in D tier, but we'll see whether he can do something to improve his content. The next creator is one of the big boys, MandRproductions. MandRproductions, or Ryan, or whatever you want to call him, is one of the pillars of the whole community. He's been doing it for basically forever and still continues to grow. In this year alone he gained 100,000 subscribers, finally cracking the 500k. Now he's in no way unproblematic, be it his constant complaining or his closeness to RichboyJhae, a confirmed homophobe and scammer, but you can't really deny his impact on the whole community. He is the most influential person in the LEGO scene. I talked about this last year, I'm not going to repeat everything here again. When it comes to his content though, I think he kept up the quality, stay consistent and just makes interesting videos. Some are a bit, let's say, biased, but that's just what comes with being a YouTuber, so I think keeping him in A tier is totally justified. RichboyJhae is our next creator. He's just like TheBrickWiz and SoldiBricks Studios, one of the mock guys, and it really has been a pleasure watching the progress he made over the year on his Camino mock. I honestly thought that he would have dropped the project by now, but he hasn't, so that's a very pleasant surprise. He's also still doing his collecting every Star Wars minifigure series, and even though he doesn't upload too regularly, videos are still coming out. The quality isn't the cream of the crop, but it's not bad. I think he fits well into B tier. Up next, we'll look at MGF Customs. I'm just gonna start off with saying last year I put him in S tier, and I'll keep him there this year as well. Over the year, he only uploaded 20 videos, which isn't a lot, but if you look at the quality of the videos, it becomes apparent why they take so much time. The editing is always on point, and you can see that he puts in a lot of effort to break up even the more boring parts of videos with skits or whatever. His custom figures are some of the best looking ones you can find in the whole community, and he also finally managed to complete the first part of his No Way Home project. So he's our first S tier creator for today, and one of my personal favorite creators on the whole of YouTube. The next creator we'll look at is Ashnflash. In my opinion, he's just like a really basic creator. Most of his videos are just talking about leaks or reviews. Sometimes he talks about shows, movies, or throws in a ranking of sets, but it's really nothing special. That the quality of his videos isn't really that high isn't helping either, especially the editing I find to be quite boring. Now LEGO isn't really throwing him a bone either, since the themes he mostly covers are Marvel and DC, and it has been a very lackluster year for both of those. Overall, I think he fits best into the lower ranks of B tier. I thought I'd put him higher as well, but I really can't justify it since he's in my opinion just a little better than JANG's LEGO reviews. The 15th creator, also marking the halfway point, is Brixie. I really like his content. He reminds me of a male Emmasaurus, very upbeat, very positive personality, and overall just good vibes. His content also reminds me of Emmasaurus. Just like her, he's got a city project which looks absolutely fantastic and you should definitely check out. I think quality wise he isn't on the highest level. The editing is very simple, which isn't a bad thing, just a statement. I also really like his sub city project, the whole zoo thing. thing. It's really unique in my opinion, and it's just nice to see these multiple projects consistently evolve. I'll put him in A tier. He really deserves the place and is a great creator in the space. The next creator to rank is HollyOnFilm. Holly's probably the creator to go to if you want LEGO variety content. You can find reviews, unboxings, reveals, mods, Q&As and a lot more on her channel. She's also got a really positive attitude, which I like. You heard me talk enough about it with Emma and Bricksie. Sometimes though her actions, or rather reactions, feel very exaggerated. Like this is her reaction to one of the new Harry Potter sets.
I tell you right now, I am currently looking up Instagram because, you know, I want like first impression. Ooh! What noise was that? Oh my gosh.
I'm not saying you can't be happy, there's just no world where I believe a lot of these reactions are genuine. Like, here's my genuine reaction to the LEGO Star Wars leaks. That looks nice. The quality also isn't as high as it used to be in my opinion. I think she had some of the best videos quality-wise in the LEGO scene, but by now they just kinda averaged out. I'd put her in B tier overall, still very solid and recommendable to anyone who likes upbeat, high-energy videos. Up next we'll look at TommyCBricks. When it comes to variety, his content is as widespread, if not wider than Holly's. He's still working on his Liberty project, which is interlaced by smaller mocks, mods, minifigure comparisons and reviews. In regards to quality, his channel is probably the best you can find in the entire scene, not even just talking about videos, the thumbnails are already on a whole nother level. You can tell that he invests a lot of time and thought into the editing of his videos, which further complements the already high standard of recordings. You realize so far I've only said good things about him, and that's just because there really aren't any bad things to say. Just like last year, I'll put him in S tier again. The next creator is SHYTIMEismyTIME. He's also one of the older creators in the space, not in the sense that he's been doing it for a long time, but how do I do this without calling him old? God damn it, he was a marine and is in the motorcycle club. I think you get what I mean. Something unique about him is that he incorporates those two things I just mentioned to his videos. For example, one of his latest videos is about donating a bunch of Lego in an event partially held by his motorcycle club, or take his video on the Marine Corps ball as well. When it comes to quality, he's quite good as well. The editing is pretty on point, and outside of that, he's just a really likable guy. He also runs the Kelly Bricklick podcast together with the Plastic Architect and Ninja with the Bricks. Definitely go check that out, and if you ever need another guest, you know, shoot me a DM. I'm such a pretentious cunt, really. Anyways, I'll put him in A tier since I think he does some really great stuff. Next up, we've got MiniSuperHeroesToday. I don't want to be insulting, but his content is kind of mid. It's not bad, it's just there. The quality isn't the cream of the crop, but it's not bad. The content itself isn't mind-blowing either, and I'm just gonna put him in D tier. The creator we'll take a look at next is Brickyear. Last year I said he was one of the upcoming YouTubers we'd see thrive within the next couple of years, and I stick by that. He hasn't come as far as I'd have expected, which is probably due to him not uploading in more than 4 months, but the videos he did release were all quite good. The editing is always pretty on point, nothing crazy, but more than you'd see on some other channel. I'll put him in B tier for this year. I know it's hard for creators that still attend school to put out the same volume of videos as someone whose whole job is YouTube, so ranking him lower purely based on that would just be wrong. Next up we have one of the big boys again, Just Too Good. Now even though he's incredibly iconic and a pillar of the LEGO community, his content really has been slacking lately. Pretty much all he does are reviews and leak coverage, not that that is a bad thing necessarily, but you have to be really damn good at it if that's all you're doing. And when it comes to quality, I just don't think he's quite good enough to justify that narrow range of content. The reviews are on the same level as JANG's in my opinion, and the leak coverage is just okay. Sometimes he does put out other content, top 10 lists for example, like this one where he talks about... I'll go ahead and put him in C tier. I really thought I'd put him higher myself, but I just can't justify it. Sans... he's a meme. A tier. The next creator to rank is SpitBrix. He had some massive growth this year, going from 560,000 subscribers in January of 2022 to more than 720,000 at the end of the year. When it comes to video ideas, he's one of the best in my opinion. If you go on his channel, you won't find any reviews or leak coverage or anything like that. But if you're looking for very informative, almost documentary-like content, SpitBrix channel is the best place for you. The editing is rather calm, but doesn't get too boring and fits the style of video very well. Putting him into the tier list, I'd set him right next to Sans in A tier. Up next, we've got SolidBrick Studios, another one of the mock guys. When it comes to quality, I always praise him, and I'ma keep doing it now. Outside of that, he also dabbles in photography, if I'm not mistaken, so it makes sense for the quality to be above average. The editing isn't too over the top, but fine for his way of making videos, and complements his rather calm but positive personality. In terms of content, he varies between reviews, mocks, and other ideas, like interviews for example. His mocks are always goated. This year has been a bit lackluster, but him restarting the Geonosis mock series was a very pleasant surprise, especially since he also did the whole Jedi Temple thing. So taking all of this into consideration, I'll put him right next to SpitBrix, but next year I can see myself putting him in S tier if mocks and bigger projects become a regular thing again. The next creator we'll look at is TheBrickWiz. Now I could talk about the video quality or the editing, but I think I can cut this pretty short. He didn't have a single video under 2 million views in the last 7 months and has grown by more than 1 million subs since December of last year. The ideas might not always be the best, but when it comes to thumbnails, there's no one that does them more appealing. I literally can't do anything but put him in S tier, even if it's just for the ridiculous number of subs he gained this year. Up next, we've got one that also wasn't on last year's list, Brick Science. I only became aware of him this year, but I gotta say, I really like what he does. His content is pretty much summed up by his username, Brick Science. If you want an example outside of the LEGO realm, he's kind of like Adam Savage. He builds stuff, tests things, and does experiments. The quality of the videos is really good, and one thing making him very unique is that he actually got his own set. It makes the videos very recognizable and makes for an overall better watching experience, which is further supported by the editing and his quite likable personality. Ranking him, I'll put him in S tier. RJM Bricks is our next creator. He's part of the whole clique around Brick Science and TheBrickWiz, so when it comes to quality and editing, you can expect similar levels. Out of the three, he's the weakest in my opinion, but still better than quite a few others out there. This reflects in his sub growth as well. He went from a little over 2,500 subs to more than 350,000 in the span of 1 year, which is absolutely insane. The quality and editing of his videos are, as previously mentioned, quite good, and the content itself isn't too dissimilar to another creator we'll look at in a second, mostly consisting of him building stuff. As I said, I don't think he's as good as Brick Science or TheBrickWiz, so I won't put him in S, but he definitely deserves his place in A tier. The penultimate creator we've got is SacredBricks. When it comes to editing, I think he perfected the Minecraftish style of making videos. Even though he isn't that energetic, he makes it up through his editing style and ideas. If you want proof of this, he gained almost 700k subs in just this year and has had a video with less than 1 million views since December of 2021. I mentioned earlier that I get a headache from these very energetic, madly edited videos, but watching his videos is always nice and he's just pleasant to watch. Considering I've only said good things so far, you can probably guess where I'm gonna put him. S tier, of course. And lastly, we have SCDude1999. Over the year, he gained about 90,000 subscribers, and unlike a lot of others, he also dabbles in shorts. The editing in his videos is okay, it's nothing really crazy, and is certainly carried by his energetic personality and his way of talking. The longer videos mostly consist of reviews and, well, things that trigger LEGO Star Wars fans. In terms of quality, his content isn't really up there, and ranking him, I'd put him into B tier. Now that's all of them. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, goodbye.